town has allowed multiples of 20,000 square feet, which this plat is based on. I don't know of any lots or subdivisions that we've approved that were not contiguous in that period of time, or my period of time on the planning commission. I'll give you that as background. Okay. Board, it's time for y'all's comments, questions,
John,
and stuff.
I hate to do this to you, but can I speak on what you just spoke about just for 1 second? I did provide everyone with a copy, and it should be the last entry in your book with that page that talks about the 20,000. If you look at that sheet, you'll see on there it says R1 public water. I think I highlighted it, 30,000. And you'll see a little bitty one right here under additional family. If you go to subnote number 1, it applies to duplex dwellings, multifamily dwellings, and mobile home parks. I don't know how many mother-in-laws the feller has, but he probably wouldn't need a mobile home park full of them. What you're talking about was addressed. It was addressed on page 67 in our zoning ordinance, what's allowed on a single lot. On a single lot, 2 family dwellings, 1 duplex, 1 single family dwelling, 1 accessory apartment provide the following requirements. The primary principal use of the property is residential by the owner. I speak about it all the time. A single lot, minimum 60,000 square feet, can have 2 buildings on it. That's 60,000. That's 30 and 30. 2 single-family dwellings on a single lot, or 50,000 square feet for a duplex. So each duplex could be 50,000 square feet. Or 40,000 square feet for a home, and 1 accessory apartment no greater than 600 square feet. So what you're talking about was addressed on page 67 in the zoning ordinance. This was designed for subdivisions. So I just wanted to point that out to the board.
The heading on the board. I mean, on the category, it says square feet per additional family. It doesn't say families.
But it says in footnote 1, multi-family dwellings. This is multi-family dwellings.
And I take that it applies for a single family or these other 3 categories listed under caveat number 1.
Right. So we have that now. We have 30,000 square feet for the first and 20,000 square feet for each additional multi-family dwelling. So it's 30, 20, 20, 20 according to this.
That's, as a matter of practice, the planning commission has never allowed that.
Well, I cannot speak to that and appreciate your service. There was a 12-year window that this could have changed, but we're talking about today, not 18 years ago.
Okay. Board? Questions? Comments? Okay.
John, I've got almost 3 acres.
Let me finish and we'll be right back. I'll get you first.
Did you say it meets the density before adding the septic field on there? Like as the property?
Meets the density. The only thing it doesn't meet, the only requirement it doesn't meet is the PUD, the planned unit development.
Overall lot size.
The overall lot size. Yeah. The 30,000 square feet. He's only at 260,000.
If
He
you go
needs
to
an
30,000,
additional
not to 10 acres.
40,000 square feet.
But you also have 4 acres of this property that's underwater that joins this property as part of it.
Okay. That'd be another thing the planning commission can consider. Part of this plat that's platted, and you're asking the board to accept that, is a little more than 4 acres, below 813.
You have a copy of it in your binder. It's got the red stuff on it. It should be 3 under 2 or 3.
And the 10 acres would be 5 acres. It's asking to include 5 acres underwater that he owns as part of that 10 acres.
Is the part that's maybe underwater, is that part of the tax plat at the county? So you're not paying taxes on that property?
I have my property.
You don't pay taxes on the property under the water?
That's correct.
Okay. So the county recognizes the tax plat as the property that's usable property for density.
Correct.
They don't accept the property underwater to be taxed or considered usable.
But I am paying taxes on the property where the.
So is everybody else on the lake.
Septic field is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's additional.
Yeah.
I got it.
When dealing with TVA on these boats, navigable water and TVA and their own property, I have no jurisdiction whatsoever. The reason people don't park their boats in front of somebody's house, like Donnie's or any of you guys, they don't live on the lake, because it's recognized that the person that lives on that water, other than the navigable lake, you know, the main channel, navigable channel, they have control of that water. Rise and fall with the thing. You own down to it, 820 below TVA controls it, but you can sue somebody that parks a boat for more than 15 days in that spot. You do have some ownership of it, per se. Halfway across the creek was the old rule. If you live on a farm, you have halfway across the creek, your neighbor has the other half. That kind of thing. So,
Has the planning commission ever received a request using property underwater?
not that I know of. John, I know.
No. I don't know of any planning commission that allows that. Do you, Jordan? Is any of your cities?
I've not had this issue even come up, to be honest with you.
I know Maryville, Alcoa, in their extraterritorial zoning and planning, when they had it, did not allow it.
But they do allow the density for septic field area and disposal area to be counted in.
So, yeah.
Under the 813?
No, we
No,
don't.
in addition, any of the septic or disposal area that's usable, they allow to be added to it. You're correct in the water point county to say that, you know, the property that's underwater with almost half year to year, they don't count that, they do count the disposal area.
If it's on the same property, right?
It doesn't delineate that, it just says disposal field.
Yes, I'm Melanie Davis. I'm the attorney for the applicant. I work at Kaiser & Black. I'm the city attorney for Maryville and have been for many years, so I'm familiar with planning and zoning. So I was just asked to look at this issue by my client. I think that the language that we're looking at is under 11408 3A, dealing with the minimum size for a PUD lot. And I just think the wording in there is important, because it says no PUD shall have an area that is less than the reviewing body considers to be adequate. However, the minimum site shall be not less than 10 times the minimum lot size. So area is not a defined term, and we would submit that area is a broad enough term that it could include the necessary septic field for the property. PUD, an area includes that it's going to necessarily use. And also site is used to describe what you're supposed to include, and it also doesn't have a definition. And obviously, part of the site would include the sewage disposal system. It's necessary. You can't have the property be developed without it. So I think it comes down to whether you guys can define area and site under this ordinance broadly to include that septic area as part of the overall development, which is part of the overall development plan. And if you do that, then the numbers are there for this to work. So it doesn't specify that it has to be literally on the same lot. It just talks about the site and the area for the PUD.
Very quick question. If in fact the town of Louisville had access to sewer like we potentially thought we might have from the city of Maryville with the Smith & Wesson thing that we don't, if it was running down that road, how would this request be different?
It would.
They just wouldn't be able to add that land that the sewer is.
We never
So
changed.
that's the key right there. He just said, if the sewer was there, he would have to meet the restrictions of what we've set up as a planning commission. We wouldn't be adding different property. So what we're doing is adding property because we're trying to add sewer to it. Correct?
Yes.
That's the idea. I get the concept. The concept's great if we can justify it. The problem is it's difficult to justify based on the pattern of what the planning commission has done in the past and the exceptions we've not allowed in the past for others. So I just want to make that point.
But, you know, I just want to stress to this board, the Board of Mayor and Aldermen recently set aside $600,000 to build a subsurface sewer system for a potential town center on property adjacent to what we're looking at,
Right.
across in the corner,
Right.
okay? We've done preliminary soil tests, and it's a struggle to fit it in there. This, and my understanding is Patrick has spoke to the owner of that property, Mr. Yass, and there's a potential for a relationship there that would save the town a considerable bit of money and give us a nice restaurant to go eat dinner at.
Right.
Because that's what we're looking at, is retail, which is, I mean, if you look at the current tax income, what we get our money from, 400 people in Townsend brings in as much tax revenue as 5,000 people here in Louisville.
Right.
So we need retail, and we
One's
just don't
top
have.
10 in the state in tourism, and one's not.
Alright, okay.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I'm looking, the mayor and I, we're looking at an opportunity to increase a little bit more revenue so we can do a little bit more things, like our Parks and Rec expanding, walking trails, events, and things like that. But it comes down to, I've got, the owner of the property is a restaurateur. He wants a restaurant. I've got two very nice restaurant owners, executives live here in Louisville that have verbally agreed to put a restaurant there. So there's a potential for three, and if we only get one, we still got a nice place to go and have dinner.
Right.
So, yeah, there's more to this.
Right.
From the administration here at the town's point of view, it would really help to have this. So, if there's any way you can see it within your guidance to do it, then that's what we're requesting. And I mean, the mayor could speak on this also.
Right.
I don't want to speak for you, ma'am.
No, you're not speaking for me. What I would just say is, every week I have people say, we need a grocery store. Or, it would be nice to have a restaurant that we can go to. Or, can we fix this bridge or that bridge? The problem is, we don't have the sewer system. We don't have the revenue to do those things that people want to do. And so, we have to generate it some way.
Right.
And we have to try to fill the needs of the community some way.
Right.
I feel like this is on a main corridor. The traffic that has been generated there is not something the town has generated or promoted. It has been created by the actions of Blount County and the partnership and the things that they put on around the county.
Right.
But if you want to make, I guess, lemonade out of lemons,
Right.
then generate some money with
Right.
a couple of restaurants there that people can have dinner at.
I think
Or a grocery store.
I think it's clear the benefits potentially for the town. My struggle is again, I can't speak for behalf of everybody here. They've got all to do their own. My struggle is for the people that may not live in that general area where it might make sense. Am I going to have to open up this kind of concept, an exception to them? If all of a sudden somebody out where it's not necessarily generic, where they're not going to get a restaurant or don't want it, am I going to say no to them, but only say yes to the ones that are in the proximity where it makes sense?
Well,
And-
I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but one thing you can add, and this is what currently John and you guys are changing the zoning ordinance. I mean,